Episode 166. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We have Absolute Wonder Woman #1. We have Rook Exodus #6 and Avengers 19. Let's check it out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker, and talking about comics. Yes, we got in issue 2 of Lords of LA. This is my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. And there's issue 1 as well. I just put the order in for this cover here, so if you want one, let me know. We also have it digitally, and yeah, if you want one, just type in the comments that you're looking for one, and then I will, of course, I assign them as well, and we'll figure out your address and that kind of thing. But lots of fun there, and the artwork on it's pretty good as well. And then we're in our last week of Mythlord's classic Monsters card game with artwork by Mark Spears, who does a lot of comic book artwork as far as comic covers for Marvel, DC, and the Independents as well, because he's also done Spawn a bunch of times, things like that. Anyway, you can go to mythlords.net, or you can go to the description below, and there's a link there to the Kickstarter campaign. And yes, there's little figures that come with it, because there's Frankenstein and Dracula and stuff like that. So lots of fun. All right, so also I do this because, not only because people are collecting comics, but people that don't. So if you're not collecting anything and you kind of want to see what Marvel and DC are doing out in the realm and the sphere, then definitely check this out, because you know they make comic book movies all the time. Sometimes you don't even know they are comic book movies because they're, you know, things that are not superheroes. But anyway, I do a little bit of everything here, and if you want to skip around, you can just go to the description, and I have chapter sections. All right, so let's jump into Wonder Woman. Absolute Wonder Woman #1 by Kelly Thompson. I have collected a lot of things by Kelly Thompson, and mostly she is disappointing. She's not a very good writer. From what I've come across, I did collect all 50 issues of Captain Marvel, which was her entire run, and I can tell you that there was very few good issues in there. I tried to collect her independent book. I tried to collect her Scarlet, and it's all just been very, very bad. So when I was just going to get this on a spec thing, because, you know, Batman #1 kind of blew up. I think it's worth $30 already. So I said, all right, I'll just grab Wonder Woman #1, and just for, you know, I won't collect it, and I'll just stop. However, I was pleasantly surprised. She did get it, and she actually wrote Wonder Woman better than Tom King is doing in the main series. So I was, because I thought this was going to be like Wonder Woman in name only, where it's going to be just kind of like Batman is, really. It's not really Bruce Wayne, but where he's just in costume only. But anyway, we start out in Gateway City, which I guess kind of looks like California a little bit, where it has the boardwalk with the Ferris wheel on it. And you have this guy who is trying to report on this alien invasion, because they have an upside-down pyramid, just happens to show up here. It's like, hi, I'm an upside-down pyramid. But then all of a sudden, all of these things come out. And he tells the reporter, he tells the camera guy, you go first, you got the camera. He's like, you coward. He's like, yeah. But then we have this masked character on a Pegasus, that dead Pegasus, I guess, like a skeletal Pegasus. I'm not a big fan of the skeletal Pegasus. It doesn't really do anything for me. But overall, and then she has this huge sword, which is also very strange. It's almost very anime. This entire thing is a little bit very anime. But anyway, we get this cool kind of drop to the knees with this big sword, and then, you know, she does a little boom thing with the bracelets and kind of stuns them. It is only 5 issues, so I may continue. But then we jump to a flashback of Cersei in hell. So I guess she did something naughty with the gods, or the gods just didn't like her being just too brash, or whatever that she was doing probably had something to do with magic. We don't know for sure, but they banish her to hell. So all of a sudden Apollo shows up and says, "Here's a baby." And she's like, "What am I going to do with a baby? What's going on with the baby? I don't get it." And he's like, "Well, the Amazons have been naughty too, and you know what happens to naughty people? We bring them down here to hell." So this was their punishment, was to take their child from them, which was Diana, and give it to Cersei. And she's like, I'm not a mother, and I'm here in hell. Do you think this baby's going to live? And they're like, we don't care. Apollo's like, if it dies, it dies. I don't care. But it just, I took it away from them. They don't know what the baby's fate is, if it's going to live or die. That's on you, all right? If he dies, when I see you again, it just won't be here. So I thought that was all real interesting, because we still have her being made out of clay, her being imbued by life by the gods, and then obviously the gods then using it as leverage, or her as leverage. And so Cersei is like, I don't know what to do here. And Apollo says, you cannot say the word Amazon again. In fact, try to say it, because I just took it out of your mouth. And she goes, and whenever she tries to say the word Amazon, just nothing comes out. So I thought that was very interesting too. And then we have her saying that she is now trying to possibly raise a child, and she's like, let's see if it dies. So there's a big snake that comes up on it. She's like, well, if it dies right here, then I'm done. And Diana grabs it and throws it. A little like Superman with the car in the first movie. So then she decides that she is going to raise the child, and there's a little lizard thing that has fire ability, and the fire doesn't affect her at all. So she picks up, instead of killing it, she kisses it and lets it go on its way. And Cersei's like, well, that's probably a problem, because it's probably going to come back. But it doesn't. And then you got this 2-page spread of their abode, and she continuously dresses it up. So it's more of a home. I thought that was very interesting as well. There you can see the shelves start going things, and then the beds start getting to be made and things like that. So Cersei is beginning to be a mother, and she's like, when you discover love, it's raising a child, or something to that effect, which I kind of like the theme, because that is very Wonder Woman. So, and then we continue on with these, spreads where they're having their discussions as she's growing up, and she's teaching her spells. So we're not getting a Mary Sue here. We're getting someone that's been trained their entire life, or her entire life, to be this hero. And she's learning about, she says one thing where a boy is mean to a tree or something like that. So she's learning compassion, and I get all that. But then we get back to Earth in today's time, and now we have whatever comes out of that pyramid, and she's like, you're not going to have this world. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to go through me. And he's like, fine, I'm going to go through you. And he says, no, you're not, because I got a big old sword. And the Pegasus blasts it, and she uses that ability to, or that thing, to use some of her spells on the thing. And then the things attack her, and she's leaping away from all of the beams, etc. So we got nice little fight scenes. So it has some really nice world building in here, and she gets blasted and bounces across the thing. And then we switch back to, she says she knows the word Amazon, even though no one's ever told her, and Cersei still can't say the word, but somehow it's ingrained in her that she's an Amazon. And we get this thing where she picks herself back up, and she says, tell me who you are. And she's like, I am Diana of Themyscira, and you shall not pass. Anyway, cool stuff. I can't fault it. I liked it. I liked it. I shocked myself by liking it. Yeah, if you're a fan of maybe something a little bit different on the Wonder Woman side, pick it up. I'm not sure that they could ever do this as a movie. They might be able to do it as like an Elseworlds cartoon, but that's about the extent of it. They can't even get a Wonder Woman movie correct, much less having something like an Elseworlds done. All right, so let's jump into the Avengers by Jed MacKay. He's the one writing Moon Knight. He's writing Moon Knight decently, although he's got his off times. But he just can't get Avengers right, man. He just can't do it. He's got such a great roster. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's why I picked this up. We now have Storm on it. And, everybody who's been a fan of my channel knows I'm a huge fan of Storm. That's why I picked this up to begin with. I love Scarlet Witch. I don't know what's going on. I like Captain Marvel, but what the hell with the jacket, man? I really hate that. And then we have Vision, and we have Iron Man, and we have T'Challa, and we have Falcon Cap. Just bring back Falcon, man. I don't need Falcon Cap. But anyway, and I really like, I look at that idea there. Yeah, Cable and Bishop, but it's written by Steve Fox. I like the idea, but not Steve Fox. So anyway, we see this thing where the Falcon Cap and Black Panther are talking, and they're talking about the fact that he's going to go on this mission to try to get away from Storm, because he was married to Storm at one time, and he's like, one of the biggest regrets I have in my life is that I let Aurora go. So I thought that was interesting. And then we have all this talking going on, about T'Challa and the fact that, we all agree that he's a good man, etc. And then they get a visit from Dr. Doom. And he says, "You must come with me." So that he bleeps them over to talk to them. And he's like, "Why have you not taken over the world? Any one of you can take over a country." What? Have Falcon Cap try to take over a country with no powers. He can't. That's my biggest problem. He's not even supposed to be catching the shield. He doesn't have any super healing or anything like that. As soon as he catches that shield, that thing's going to break his arm in 3 different pieces. The Falcon Cap character does not work. If you gave him the super soldier serum, maybe. But it just doesn't work. And the fact that they're doing this with... So now they have Captain America with a different character. They have Wolverine, who's X-23. They have Daredevil, that's Elektra. Stop it. Just give them their own identity. Why do you have to steal other characters' identity to, raise up somebody else? It's better off they give them something. I have no problem with the costumes. Just give them a name. Captain Falcon's fine. Whatever. It's Cap Falcon. Whatever. But anyway, I don't agree with Doom here. I think he's being pretty stupid if he thinks that they can all take over the planet on their own. Vision would there's no way. Any kind of military, if they put the entire country's military on one of these characters, they would not live. Period. So anyway, so he's like, "And I will give you a little test." And the artwork in here is generally good. I kind of like that scene right there. But he brings out these creatures. Well, if they can't even take care of, these creatures that come out of the ground, how are they going to take care of, an entire country? This whole book is just stupid. So he says, "Now, if you worked for Doom," and you notice that they all have green in their thing now. In fact, the Captain Marvel looks like the movie with the colors from the movie from the beginning. And, there's Storm, and, it's like, "You're all powerful. You could change the world." And he's like, the whole book is just this theory of Doom's. That's all we get here. Because now Doom, I forgot to say this, that Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme. I really like that picture of Storm there. But now he's the Sorcerer Supreme, so, and again, I like the dynamic. The artist really had nothing to work with here because it's all just dialogue for dialogue's sake. And that's all this book is. It just really does not work. It's just a piece of garbage. And we're leading up to Avengers versus X-Men. So I may keep going until that happens to see where Jed MacKay goes with that. But it's all just garbage. And now they're pondering about, what he was trying to do, what Doom was trying to do, because I don't think that Jed MacKay knows what what Doom was trying to do there. I don't think he knows. So instead, I'm gonna have my characters ponder it. Garbage. All right, so Rook Exodus number 6. This is by Jeff Johns. This is the story of Exodus. I don't know why you'd call it Planet Exodus, but that's what it is. And it's all they terraformed it, people from Earth, and then a corporation brought people over, and so there was a whole community, and then they have helmets on called wardens, where any kind of species, so that each warden has a helmet that controls a certain species of animal that they brought over from Earth. And some of them mutated, so the bears are very big and things to that effect. And some of the intelligence levels have gone up in these animals and things to that effect. But they control them via brain waves or whatever from the helmets. And then when the terraforming machine, the engine started to break down, the planet started to break down. So anybody who had any money, they left town, man. They just got out of Dodge. But that left some of the wardens behind, all the wardens really, and anybody who couldn't afford to go. And one of these characters is Ursaw, at least that's what we know his name as, and he started killing wardens and collecting their helmets and giving helmets to his minions. And right now, they connected all the wardens together so that they can find out their locations and kind of beckon them to come help in this battle. So that's where we're at right now, and it's almost got a vibe of Mad Max in this case. You know, kind of in these big cars in a wasteland and things to that effect. And they're like, "Where's Rook? Oh, there he is!" So he almost looks like Batman in the Batmobile there. So it's got some, the artwork is phenomenal. But then we have this car chase, and you can see the birds. He controls crows, and he's firing machine guns. That's why, it's almost like I said, it's almost like Batman. And it ejects him, and he lands on the other thing. And meanwhile, you have Ursaw, who's captured Direwolf, which is the female. She controls wolves, and he has the locations of all of the other wardens so that he can go eliminate them. And he's like, "You cannot stop me! I am going to do this! And it's all going to be mine." Even though the planet is self-destructing, I guess he doesn't care. He's going to go and do all this till the day he dies, I guess. So anyway, there's an explosion through the wall, and we have Rook in there, and he fires a grappling hook through Ursaw. Not sure how that works, because it looks like it's already open by that point. I don't know how that works. It shouldn't have been open. It should have been open after. But anyway, he drags him out of there, and now they're going to be fighting. Meanwhile, that gives Direwolf the chance to grab her own helmet while he's getting up, and he's firing, and he can't go through whatever armor Ursaw is wearing. And then the bears are going to attack him, and they smack him across the thing while Ursaw comes up with this big axe. He just dodges just in time. He goes to call the crows to help him. Meanwhile, Direwolf is heading out, I guess because he also has the turtle guy, the turtle warden, also captured. So we have this battle happening, and of course Ursaw has been mutated, which is why he's so much bigger by whatever the world engine is happening, and he was affected by it, just like the bears were. But anyway, so he loses his helmet, and he's like, "I don't know how I'm going to get out of this," and Ursaw literally breaks his arm to where it's going in the wrong direction. And he's going to almost admit defeat, except that even without the helmet, the birds come and help him, and he smacks one of them where it loses an eye. And that becomes important later. But anyway, they attack him enough where they toss him off the side of the truck. So again, we have more of a little bit of, Mad Max situation going on here. And this is where I was like, what? And I'm going to tell you why in a second. But the bird that lost an eye sits on his shoulder, and he says, "I will call you Poe." Okay, so anybody who knows anything about me knows that I created a character in 1995 called Shadow Raven. And it was put out by a publishing company called Pocket Comics. and I did a card game with Shadow Raven, and Shadow Raven has now jumped into the Destiny Aurora universe, so he was in the 4th novel. So I have Destiny Aurora has 4 novels. That's my sci-fi novel series, and I'm going to be continuing with the character, but he actually has a raven named Poe. So I'm going to have to post the picture online so that Jeff Johns knows that we're both going to have birds named Poe. I had mine first. Sorry. And I guess he's an Edgar Poe fan as well. So that's the way it is. All right, so we get this cool little artwork, and they captured Ursaw, and they can't get the helmet off him, which is interesting. And I like that she's all scarred up and stuff like that. If you're in battle continuously and you just, look like a beauty queen, I have a problem with that. So I kind of like that they're making everybody lived in. And there's the turtle guy. But anyway, the thing is seared onto him or whatever that they can't get it off. It's like part of him at this point. And the only person that can fix the world engine is Direwolf's dad. And now they're going to go search for Direwolf's dad. And that's him there. And it says that it's not coming back till 2025. Really good stuff, though. I just going to have to post about Poe because I don't want him thinking I took it from him when I've had mine out for many, many years. All right, so let's do a recap. Rook Exodus. I would love to see a movie on this. Everybody was talking about that they want to see figures because everybody looks so cool. And I agree. I think they did a really good job with the designs. And it would make a good toy line. A movie would be very expensive, though. But Jeff Johns has some contacts, so I don't know. And then you have Avengers, piece of crap by Jed MacKay. I don't know why anybody can't write Avengers. I just can't understand it. And then you have Absolute Wonder Woman, which was an absolute surprise. I'm very, very shocked that this was a decent book. Again, the only way they could do it is if they were doing it as a animated Elseworlds on Max. It wouldn't make a good film because they can't even get Wonder Woman right in a film. All right, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me. Remember, too, that we have Mythlord's Classic Monsters card game. It's our last week on Kickstarter, where you can play as your favorite classic monster, whether it's Dracula, Frankenstein, the Creature from the Deep, or the Wolfman, where you also have the Bride and Mr. Hyde and that rhymes, and the Mummy and Headless Horseman. So it's got great artwork. Even if you don't play the game, it's got great artwork with a lot of great characters. You're fighting over locations. It plays 1 to 4 players. Even if you don't know anybody to play with, you can actually play by yourself. We're going to be unlocking a 5th clan and commander, which is the Wicked Witch, because we also have a Dark Oz expansion, so it comes with that figure as well once we unlock it. So come on in, go to mythlords.net, or go to the description below and get the link to the Kickstarter and jump in now. Also, remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. Ring that bell, ding ding, and get notified whenever I put up. I'm putting up the Venom. The Venom one should be up first before this one. All right, check out some other videos, and thanks again. Have a great week.